Who that is? Who that is?
And he started.
Who that is?
Hell no.
Who that is?
It ain't starting again. Yeah, wait. Oh my freaking God.
It said check the internet connection off.
That's just my baby daddy. Who that is? Who that is? Why you laughing?
Because of the topic. The song is,
Who that is?
is it your baby daddy?
Who that is? Right. Dang. Phone to me. Ooh, why she know the word? Hi, y'all. All I know is the hook.
Hey, good afternoon. Good evening. Well,
That's
come on,
my
y'all.
baby daddy. My baby daddy. My baby daddy. All right. That's enough, y'all.
That's that Latifa word.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, welcome to Real and Rare.
Oh.
I'm Nene. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up? It's
We have a special
Tuesday.
guest.
Y'all
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
I'm Kofa, Demigod Kofa on Facebook, G.R.O.W.T.H on YouTube.
Say that one more time.
Kofa, Kofa, Demigod Kofa on Facebook, G.R.O.W.T.H on YouTube.
Welcome.
Thank
All right,
you.
then, don't be trying to shine
Thank
on
you.
us.
Welcome.
I'm bringing y'all
We need
on.
to be on your podcast.
I am.
Exactly.
Y'all are like a year ahead of me. I'm like 2 weeks in.
But
But I got you. But I got you.
Next.
what's up, y'all? Y'all know what it is. It's your girl Jazz. Happy Tuesday to everybody.
Hey, happy Tuesday. I know y'all missed his face. It's Kiki.
Always say it. Hey, you already know it's your girl TT. How y'all doing? What's up? Today's topic is gonna be who that is? My baby daddy. Who that is? My baby daddy.
Is it?
My baby daddy.
Maybe daddy.
Maybe
not.
baby daddy. See, y'all do know what the saying is, right?
That is mama's baby's daddy's baby.
Okay, as long as everybody know.
Yeah.
So let's do it, because this might get a little touchy for some people. So that's why we have a male too. And another man, my friend might jump in, you know. Welcome, Kofi. Am I saying it correct?
Kofa.
Kofa.
Ron, yep.
Kofa. Is there a meaning for it?
It's saying Kofa. Everybody just call me Kofa.
Nice. That's a cool name.
Thank
You got a cool name.
Thank you.
All right, we should have had 2 hookahs. How we gonna pass the hookah all the way over here?
They fire.
Next.
Okay. Go ahead, Jay. What you got? Because you said some stuff earlier about all right. So we were talking earlier. We kind of just came up on this topic today. First of all, did we do a sound check? Make sure everybody can hear us. Yeah. All right. So earlier today, the ladies and I were talking. Awesome. And some things happened over the last couple of days in my personal life that just brought this topic aboard. Not for me personally, but things around me. Let me say that, because y'all like to take it there. But we were talking about basically women accusing men of certain things. A baby, rape, things of that nature. Yeah, things of that nature. And then once an investigation takes place and it turns out not to be true, nothing happens to the woman. So I was like, do y'all think it should be some type of law or something in place to where the woman, or even a male, if it happens to be a man, because it does happen in that case too, but most likely if a woman says, this is your baby, and you go 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 years taking care of this child, then one day you find out that it's not yours, all she gets is a slap on the wrist, and she says, oh, I'm sorry, and that's it. You don't have to pay the money back. Nothing happens to the woman. And basically, I don't want to say the man suffered, but in some cases, men have struggled and suffered trying to provide for a child. And then just to find out years later that it's not theirs. So I felt like a DNA test should be mandatory, like government. Like it should be, before you leave the hospital, we know that this is the mama and this is the daddy of this child. Because forever, all they had to do was sign a birth certificate and they were held responsible. Mm-hmm. And then years later, you find out. It's still like that. it's not your baby, right?
Yeah.
And the only way most people have found out is when they go to get on child support. Now it's mandatory that you take a DNS because you requested a child support.
To take care of your child.
And now you find out,
because so many
is
people
this my baby or not?
Baby.
So
And
give
that
me your
depends on the
thoughts.
state.
We're gonna take it there a little bit, but just y'all chime in and tell me how y'all feel. Nene, you was kind of against it a little bit, and tell why.
I said because I felt like, and I understand it, but I feel like me personally, how I move and the people that I'm with, I don't feel like they would question that I would feel some type of way because I've been in long relationships. I'm not saying people don't do anything, but I'm just saying that's how I would feel if they would have came to me and said, hey, I want to test when I be with you every day, all day, most of the time. And not saying when you walk out the door, stuff can't happen. I'm just talking about me.
Right. So you mentioned if you were in long relationships or a marriage that you didn't feel it should be necessary.
For me,
no, it happens.
Right, it happens, but I'm just saying that's my personal, that I would have felt some way if somebody would have said it.
So can I piggyback off of both of y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's just start off with DNA. Because Jazzy asked the question, the women get a slap on the wrist, nothing happens, should they have to pay the money back? And my response earlier to that was no. Because it's not like it's not any laws put in place for a man to request a DNA. Both parties have a responsibility. So if a man can go request for a DNA test without him being put on child support or whatever the case may be, so he's just as responsible as his female, because some women really do think that this man is the father of their child, and they just as shocked as a man. So it's yeah.
No, the only way for it to not be, that means you have multiple partners, right?
Yeah, but
so then
okay, well
you know it's a chance. You
know
it's
but
a chance.
Deep down in her heart, she really felt like she ain't just putting it on this man just to say, I want this man to be my baby daddy. She really, even though she probably did have multiple partners, she really thought that this particular partner was her baby daddy. But again, men, you have the responsibility to request a DNA test. You don't have to wait for the female to do it. You can do it. So again, I say both parties are just responsible as a female. And then as far as Mimi, I was explaining to her earlier, I won't feel no type of way if my son's father, whether I'm in a relationship or whether I'm married, asks me for a DNA test because just for his sake. Because I don't want him to ever throw up in my face that this baby not his. So just so you can have a clear mind and so you can 100% know that this is your child, yes, I want you to get a DNA test. Me personally, you need to get a DNA test. You want it, you can get it. I won't feel no type of way about it. That's just me, you know. So
you want to chime in? Because I want to ask the guys, do you have children?
I do.
So when your children were born, did you immediately say, I want a DNA test? Did you even think about it?
So no, I didn't, and I'm halfway agreeing with TT. I'm halfway agreeing because you got to remember when men are having kids, we just as young as y'all. Like as females, we often hear y'all say, looking back, it's like, oh, I was young, I didn't know no better. Y'all can get a pass for that. We often don't get a pass for that as men, to say that, oh, I was young. Because I was 21 when I had my daughter. She was born in January. My birthday just actually passed. So I turned 22. So I was 21 years old as a father. I didn't know. My mom made me get a DNA test. And it's crazy y'all asked this, y'all talked about this topic. I just had a long hour-and-a-half conversation with my mom yesterday about what she had to go through as a mother to get a lawyer to get me to get a DNA test. Because I didn't know she was doing all that behind the scenes. I just thought she was, can I cuss on here? Yeah. So she was just on my ass about, you need a DNA test. But I had did the math and everything and thinking the baby mine, she came out red like me, looking like me. And even my mom had said, you know, that baby, I don't think you need a test. She looked like you, but the lawyer told her, she said, she told her, ma'am, I've been working in this part of the law for too long. I done seen her walk like them, talk like them,
And still not be
everything
theirs.
and
Absolutely.
still not be there.
And that's a fact.
So that's
know
how
how
I ended up
crazy that
having
is?
the DNA test for my daughter. She's mine, but I'm glad that I went through it because I know other brothers that we all had kids around the same time, and they done took them
And don't go
L's.
by that. I'm sorry.
They done took them L's 7, 8 years later on down the line.
Exactly. And don't go by that. I'm gonna take to my mama, my aunt, my sister. And
No.
that
But
it don't
again,
work.
he was young, and a lot of people when
No.
they're young, they do that. Let me tell you, if my son came to
Old
me
people
right now,
do that.
my son can, and you know what's funny? You say your mom made you do it.
Mhm.
Most mothers are like that with their boys.
Yeah.
Not with, I mean, with the girls, it's your baby. We know it's your baby, so we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't question it. But with the boys, 9 times out of 10, the mom be like, "You sure that's your baby?" We're the ones that question it. My son came to me right now and told me that girl was pregnant.
My daughter's in that situation right now. And my grandbaby will be 1 on Friday. And because the boy felt like, and the crazy part about it is, and y'all know I'm real, I put my, it's really real, so I got to be real about it, even with my own situation. The boy went to his parents and told their parents he fucked up way before he ever knew that she was pregnant. So when we presented the situation, brought her money, saw she was pregnant, baby got here, the family all into it. Baby got here, now it's, oh, my son wants a DNA test.
So why not bring
She
him that?
said, I did. Let's do it. She was like, oh, I'm waiting on this money to come to pay for the DNA test.
You
Okay.
don't
They
need
got
money.
home
When
DNA
you go for
test.
first of all, you got to
Better go to CVS, Walmart.
Absolutely. You can do that.
Facts.
That's a bull.
First and foremost, it was bullshit. And I wasn't going to look into it. I wasn't going to fight to push the issue because one thing I told her is, guess what? We know she ours.
But
did I just say that though?
But it's gonna,
Yeah.
I just feel like,
It is
As a
her
mother,
personal
you don't
life.
push it for the daughter.
but can I say this? Can I say this? I think it should be pushed because I think a child comes in this world as innocent as possible, right? So I think a child should know who
Their
both parents are,
Definitely.
regardless of the likes, the dislikes, the situations, or
Agreed.
whatever. So I think it definitely should be pushed, and that's my opinion.
And you don't
And
have
it's
to
true.
pay for it.
And it's true. I was willing. Hey, let's do this. My daughter was willing. Hey, let's do this. And then they disappeared.
Yeah, it takes this long.
Okay,
no
so
contact, no
you-
nothing. But guess what? I'm not gonna beg y'all to get a DNA test for
I
my
get that.
granddaughter.
I get
I'm not
that.
about to do that.
I get that. I feel like that my son. I
She
wasn't
be
gonna
like,
beg
I'm
you
not
that.
gonna beg you. You say you want to do it. I said let's do it. I'm not gonna beg you to do it.
Now,
and
he
they haven't
said-
been in my life anymore.
He said that, or did his mama say that?
He's young.
She young.
So
He's
9
young.
times out of 10,
He's
it's the
16.
parents who push
Yeah.
the ball.
It's the parent. The daddy was like, oh, we don't walk away from responsibility. He gonna step up from day one. But the mama
And
was
that's the
against
thing. That's what I was gonna say. Is men, a lot of people don't understand. Even grown ass men. I just turned 40. I still have a healthy fear of my mom.
Absolutely.
Y'all have so much power in our community,
Yes, that's true.
especially with the boys. Like black people, we are matriarch. Like we can talk all the shit we want to. Grandmama walk in the room and shut
It's just
everything
everything
down.
down.
So
Okay.
at that
So-
age, can you not put him on child support and be
How old
forced
is he now?
to be
17.
In the state of Georgia, 17, you are an
Adult.
adult.
Right.
She can go
So
put
you
him
go put
on
on
child
child
support,
support,
and
and
they would make him take the
I did
test,
not
and
want
you don't have to pay a
I did
penny.
not want to have to go
I know,
there.
I know,
didn't
but
wanna
you
go
have
that
to,
route.
Kiki.
Why not?
You have to.
And
They're not gonna do
I'm gonna jump
anything.
in again. I would say
That's
do
putting
it.
that little boy in the system because of his ignorant ass mom.
No.
No,
No,
that's
he
not a
doesn't.
responsibility.
He said,
You handicapping him.
I'm not handicapping him. I
Yes.
can't force nobody to do
You
shit.
but you ain't even trying. You ain't even trying.
but you gotta.
But guess what? I done already looked up all of it. Until he's 21, his mom and them gonna be responsible for the baby.
Okay,
anyway.
then let's do their parts.
So
But you, what,
Yeah.
So-
you gotta do your part. Hell yeah. And you
Exactly. So what you talking about?
So then let them do their
okay. Bring it
part.
down. Bring it down. Bring it
Let
down.
them do their part.
Yeah.
I'm
A
gonna
DNA
say
test.
go ahead and get the DNA test. One, that's either gonna clear everything up
Fact.
or hold him and that side
him
of the
accountable.
family responsible. Like you said, y'all doing y'all part. Y'all done checked
Why
y'all block. That's
why is
easy.
his parents not responsible for doing their part?
And then you gotta realize too, you got a grandson or granddaughter. It don't matter. Children,
No, it has to be.
blood gonna seek blood. So by the time she able to walk and talk, she gonna start asking where my dad is.
But you just said that.
Y'all need to be able to provide an answer.
Well, she do. She said that now.
Yeah, like so they naturally know.
Well,
so
right.
it's
Naturally,
easier to
no.
it's easier to fix it now when she little have to answer this shit when she's
When she get
12.
older.
And she really cutting
Absolutely.
up because where the hell my daddy at? You said this was
Because
my
some
daddy.
kids
And
act
can I
out.
say
Some
this?
don't act out, but
Yeah.
some kids act out.
Can I also say that he may get, let's just say 21, 22 and be a mature 21-year-old, knowing he have a child out here, and it's like, damn, like I done lost so much time with my child because I was a child, and then he may be the best father ever. So I think giving him that chance and that opportunity to be in
Not 'cause
her
his
life.
parents-
But I'm saying the chance and the opportunity is there. I'm just not gonna beg anyone, y'all. Y'all gotta realize I had conversation after conversation after conversation.
Since the
These
baby been
things-
born?
Yes.
Because I know you told us about it before the baby was
Yes.
born.
No, I'm talking since the baby was born. And then the mother was like, hey, don't contact us no more. We don't got nothing to do with y'all.
Child support.
That's
Let's
child
go.
support.
Let's go. Child support.
And
That's
that's
bullshit.
And get what I said. This is just me thinking. Okay, y'all lost.
Can I
She's
get it?
beautiful.
This ain't working on here.
Y'all lost.
You know what? My brother, I know he
Go ahead,
don't
go
mind. Everybody knows my nephew. All of y'all know my nephew. If you know me, you know my family. Everybody know my nephew. My brother and his girl had Sedarius at 15 and 16 years old. And they were the world's greatest parents. I would tell anybody that. They were great parents then. They're great parents now. They took excellent care they got jobs. They did what they had to do to support their child. Of course, they had the support of their family. But they, as young teen parents, did what they needed to do to take care of their baby. And how do you know if he know it's his child, he won't do the same thing?
But he wants to. It's the mom that's stopping. The
That's what
child
I'm
wants
saying.
to.
I'm not stopping him from doing anything. My
But-
door is still open. I offer for them to come see her. Don't get a DNA. Because she was like, well, he don't want to see her until he gets a DNA test.
And
That's
the
the
point
mama
of
stuff. She ain't saying that. That's the mama stuff.
Right now, though, he don't want to build that bond with a child, not knowing if it's his or not.
Right.
So the
That's
responsible
what
thing to
bring it
do
up.
is get a DNA test,
I
which
believe
is
that's
what
the
we're
mama.
discussing,
I
right?
believe that's the mom. Because if you just said he
But
said
just
that,
take
you know,
but
that's the
fine,
mom.
But let's just take the mama out of it, right?
He can't do that at a certain age.
But
He was responsible enough to fuck at a
No.
certain age.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying it. I'm saying it. I'm saying when your child is in your house, just like Kofi said, when your child's in your house, the mom, it plays a strong thing. Like she might be the one that's saying, whatever, I don't care what you want to see.
You ain't going.
Right, until we get his DNA test. He might really want to be in the child life, but
Still saying until we get one. She's saying they haven't gotten one. They haven't made it.
I know, I'm saying the mama is stopping it.
Go ahead.
So this
I'm going to the courthouse.
it's the
Yeah,
process, right? So we already know how that side of the family is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take care or be in this child's life unless we get a DNA. We already know it. So now the first step is okay, DNA it is. They may not move on it, but you, as the grandparent of her, you move on it. You go to the courthouse. You start the process. The court gonna fucking finish.
They're gonna finish it.
And then when they finish that shit, that side of the family don't have no choice. If he's the father of this child, they don't have no choice but to take care of this baby. So there you go. You got to start the process. We can't do shit without starting the process.
Absolutely.
You worry about their child, but worry about your child.
Yeah, and your
You can't
money,
worry about
you
them
know.
folks.
Okay. So
And
You
I'm
need
saying
help.
that
Whether
because
you,
my mom,
whether you feel like you need it or not, you need help. You get in
again,
that situation. You know how it
in
is.
my situation, my mom was the one that went down to the court and started that paperwork. So
Which is what we're saying.
I essentially put myself on child support
Yep.
because of what my mom was doing.
So I'm
and when
glad
she
you said
sat down and explained it to me.
All right. So Naisha said, I think it should be mandatory. D. Nicole said, definitely feel like us as women get away with a lot of things. Even in our relationships, we can be wrong and we just say, oh, I'm sorry, and expect to move on. But your man make them suffer. Explain again. She also said, if a man think he's the only one, why would he ask you for one? If a
disagree.
female know she slept with more than one, then she needs to go get the DNA test. CJ
I
said,
disagree with that.
CJ
the
said,
first part.
damn, I would have got on this one if I would have known that this was the topic.
Oh yeah, because this is a good one for you, CJ.
Shanae said, I'm in a situation with my daughter. I'm in the same situation with my daughter. When she came to me when she was 8, I had to be straightforward with her and let her know the situation and why he's not in her life. And Clayton said, most definitely, I don't know what his comment was too.
Can I piggyback off of that Nicole comment, the first part? Some men don't feel like you've been sleeping around with other men. That's why they want to be in that test. They probably experience other situations around them with their homeboys, and they just want to be 100% sure. Because let me tell you, when my second son's father asked me for a DNA test, he knew I wasn't sleeping around with nobody. But because it has happened to his family member, somebody really, really close to him, he was like, babe, in my heart, I just want to be 100% sure. I don't think you sleeping around, but I want to go to sleep at night knowing that this is my child. Yep. So because a man asks you for a DNA test, doesn't always mean that he think you sleeping with multiple men. You know, they have homeboys. Men be around their homeboys who have been through stuff, so they just like
statistically. Look at the numbers. This shit is happening all day, every day. Men are finding out as we speak that a child that they've been taking care of for years is not their baby. And that got to be a heartbreaking situation. It has to be. It affects the father. It affects both fathers if it turns out not to be theirs. It affects all family members involved. It's a big deal. It affects the child if the child is old enough and they've been bonding with this who they thought was their father. For all these years, I thought this was my dad. And then one day I found out that this stranger is my father. So now I got to learn this man and try to be a part of this man, try to love this man. You don't automatically love people just because. That's a devastating situation.
And then as a man, people got to realize every dude ain't going to still say, well, that's my baby. Every dude, some of them just going to break camp. And depending on how the situation was with the mother, and depending on how the situation was with the mother of the child, like if she been giving me hell, like, yeah, that's my baby mama, and we've been going back and forth for years, and now I just find out this ain't my child, you just gave that dude an out. And everybody ain't going to stay and do right by that child that they raised.
I'm telling you, a friend of mine, and you know him, a friend of mine, he was sitting in Sudo's one day, depressed like a mug. I mean, I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong? You know, you could tell something was going on. His situation, the little girl was 8 years old. He been taking care of this girl. He been bonding with this child. This was his baby. And like you said, him and the baby mama wasn't getting along. Every time he made more money, she wanted more money. So she just on his ass. I need this, I need that. You ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. So he finally decided to go put himself on child support. When you go to child support, they automatically make you do a DNA test. Now, found out that the baby was not his. That nigga was sitting there hurt, damn near in tears. That's a devastating situation. And maybe at the time he didn't question it. Maybe he looked at the girl and felt that she was. Sometimes the baby look like you, sometimes it don't. But if you tell them that's their child and they want to be responsible, it is what it is. Some people step up to the plate and support the baby. And that's a devastating situation to find out 8 years later that that's not my child. So
can I ask this question? You have kids. You want to be on this?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you a male, you have a child, a new baby, 5 months. You have a child. I'm gonna ask the baby a question. Do you have DNA tests on your baby?
Did you ever think to get one?
We talked about it. It was nothing that we disagreed on. It's just after I saw him come out of the womb, I looked at the dad, like it just like that's changed my mind.
Nice. So you won't get a DNA test on him? Probably not. Okay. You got a DNA test.
On my oldest. I got one biological child. My second child isn't mine. We know that's not mine, but I've been raising her since she was
your
an own baby.
biological child, you have a DNA test.
Yeah.
All right. So with the women, because all of us have kids, do your kids' father have they ever had a DNA test?
Not with me, with another mother. I mean, the other child.
So have your kids have your kids' father DNA test? I have two baby daddies. Both mine have DNA tests on their kids. I just want to ask that question.
My ex-husband did it with his son because out of spite, his baby mom put him on child support because her husband was on child support. It was like, well, you might as well get on child support. So he said, out of spite too, well, let me get a DNA test in if you're going to go through this. He would have never asked for one, but because she went through that and she didn't really need to, just because of whatever she was going through, that's why she.
But it's so crazy that a lot of people get a DNA test when it's being spiteful.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the sad part,
Not just for a sense of security.
Right.
And so that's what the conversation is, though.
I like that.
If the government decided, because it would save a lot of heartbreak, it would save a lot of money. If the government made it a law, it's a part of the birthing process.
Yeah.
Before you leave the hospital, before we put our names on this birth certificate, because it's easy to do while you're already there. The baby's here, it ain't nothing but a swab.
But how would the court make money?
And that's
making money.
No, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
We're concerned about that. Come on, pay us this money to pay
topic.
for your child.
And
to
that's
take your
probably why they haven't done it, to be honest with you. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that, but you're probably right, because they're going to get theirs regardless. But I
But
guarantee you.
as responsible parents, like, we always throw in the system. We do.
We can do it too.
We should do it.
We can do it too.
And
I
they
mean,
got
it's
the
free to
whole.
do once you're at the hospital.
If
Yeah, you can ask for it then, right?
After you leave the hospital, then you got
Yeah, because I got one at the
I didn't even
hospital.
know that. You just
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
is.
got one at the
You can do it when
hospital
you're
with Messiah, and then like a week or two later, somebody came to the house,
and y'all did it.
and me and Big Lorenzo did it on King.
Makes
But
sense.
I didn't care because I was secure.
Right.
Honey, I know who this is.
Look at
This
Maury.
stuff-
You know, it's a joke. Maury's show is
I
a
know
joke.
I
But
had
it's funny as hell. But look at Maury. He making boo cool money off of you are not the father. I mean, he's making money off of this shit. That shit is crazy, but it's a reality. It's real. And the girl's running off the stage. You know what? But here's where my problem lies. Is when the moms know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's that bullshit.
Yeah, that's that bullshit.
Yeah.
80%. And I could be over exaggerating or under.
You knew it was a
I don't know.
possibility.
But you knew it was a possibility.
Yeah.
You knew if you slept with multiple women, so you knew it was a chance.
A lot of
And
them
it
don't
wasn't
want.
that
A
baby's
lot of them
child.
don't want the other person to be it, so they just go ahead and say, "Well,
And
Yeah, what's
that's
up?
what I was gonna say. I'm about to pass it around. Actually,
just go
that's
ahead
what
and
I was
say,
gonna earlier.
you the dad because you the best person that they want to be."
They know you're a good
Yeah.
Right.
father
And then
to
they
your
end up
other
being the
kids,
one that
give
ain't-
or take.
that's
You know
it.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I've heard that. I do. I've heard that. I've heard that. I knew that this was my baby daddy. And let me say, I don't want to put somebody's business out there, but
We don't know them names.
this person knew for a fact she slept with two different people. It just so happened the other person was a friend of the other person.
See?
And they both agreed that she needed to get rid of the baby if she was to get pregnant. Okay. And she chose not to. Okay. So she kept the baby. And she was like, "Hey, don't tell him that that ain't his child." So you about to lie.
Who she told that to?
No, the friend told her, tell her dude, don't tell her dude that that's not his child. And he ended up finding out. Good.
It always comes. I remember when I was in college. It's crazy. Like I said, I had this whole conversation just yesterday with my mom. I was in college. I was in biology class. We were going through blood types.
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher was saying, you know, this blood type of the father and this blood type of the mother, stuff that was going to be on the test.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're in there, it's this little white girl in the back. She knew her parents' blood type. She knew her blood type.
Wow.
Everything the teacher had just broke down. There was no way her father's
Could have been her child.
blood type and mother's made her blood type. And she broke down crying.
Yeah.
Talked to the teacher after class. Like, wanted to know, like, any possible way. No, baby, you need to talk with your parents when you go home. And they had to admit that man wasn't her father. But she's 18, 19 in college.
But
Done
you
lived
know
a
what?
life.
That's it. And here we go again, back to the innocent child.
Mm-hmm.
That blood type and that DNA test is important to that child, because what if
What
that
if they
child
get
have a
hurt?
sickness?
Yep.
What if that child later on have a health issue and need her daddy, blood or whatever?
Blood
But then
transfusion or
here we
something like
go.
And that has happened.
We don't want to get a DNA test, or we lying about some stuff, but now your child, his or her life is in danger.
And now you have a choice.
That DNA test is important.
Like it always come out. I got family members, again, not gonna name names either, but family members. Basically, her father wasn't her father, and the only reason she found out because she started dating her brother accidentally.
My God.
Didn't know.
See, that's
Brought
bullshit.
them. They all grew up in the neighborhood together. She knew his dad, but looking back, the dad would always come around, give her money, give her sister's money, but would give her extra. Everybody thought he knew and her mother knew, but it was on another guy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody thought, oh, he's giving her extra because she's the oldest. Blah 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 blah. Get the other 2 5, give her 10. So they grew up in the same neighborhood. So by the time they got to high school, they like each other, they dating or whatever. She bring him home and like, hey, grandma, his grandmama knew too. Hey, grandma, this my boyfriend. You remember so-and-so? And grandma was like,
oh, hell no.
Both of y'all need to sit down. And she had to tell her, but she had kept the lie as well for so long.
It wasn't her business to tell them.
Let's pause for a second.
It wasn't her business to tell.
Yeah.
So, Shannon said, in today's society, DNA tests should be very important. People don't value marriage and monogamy anymore. Chanel said, I feel like a DNA test off the jump will save a lot of unnecessary fuckery.
Absolutely.
Nicole said, most child support is out of spite also, though. Tay said, yes, there should be a mandatory. It should be mandatory. Kiera said, this happened to my cousin for 3 years. He raised his daughter only to find out that she wasn't his in a disagreement. He didn't believe her because she was mad. After my aunt convinced him, he decided to get a DNA test and find out that she wasn't. The little girl favored him a lot, though. Nobody won that situation.
He had been feeding. That shit the old folks say.
That's real.
That's real. Spite of not giving him a DNA test.
Yeah.
She said, when a person knows how they carry themselves and know there's no other possibility, he'll look like an ass. Jermaine said, I think people should just be honest from the beginning and keep it real. Keeping it real will go a long way. Then Nicole said, the reason why kids need to know who their parents are because they could be dating their relatives.
That's true.
Absolutely.
It was another thing. I remember back in the day, it was like Donahue or something. And this couple, they had got married, everything. Got married.
I think I remember this. They found out they were brothers and sisters.
They were first cousins.
Okay, I remember something like that.
But see, this is that family drama, these family secrets. And what happened was each one of their mamas, they got into a big argument, the sisters. One sister moved away, they totally cut each other off, stopped speaking to each other, got pregnant around the same time, didn't know because they had to stop fucking with each other. Yeah. So I think it was in North Carolina somewhere. So anyway, the kids grow up 18, they end up going to the same college. I like you, like me, blah, blah, blah. They end up staying together through college and getting married after college. But their first child came out mentally retarded. Then the second child came out mentally retarded. And they went to the doctor trying to figure out, what's going on with that. And that's how they found out. That's how they found out they were first cousins.
Same damn blood. So the whole point in we put on the topic, should a DNA test be mandatory? But again, for me, the question was, you say you don't think the mom should have to pay for the untruth, even if she knew?
No, not even if she knew. Now, if she knew, that's a whole nother story because I don't agree with that. But if she strongly thought, because one of my homegirls strongly thought that this dude was her dad, and me and her, we like this. She strongly thought that this particular dude was, her son's father, and he wasn't. So it's one thing to strongly think. And there's another thing where I strongly know that he's not. I'm just going to put this on him.
But here's the thing, though. Strongly think is all you can't strongly know. You can strongly think because if you know that you slept with multiple persons, you know that there's a chance that it might not be.
It is a possibility, but the time frame, the cycles, and all that stuff like that, she thought she didn't do it. My whole thing is it wasn't done intentionally. Like, okay, well, I know I saw the two dudes, and I know this. He not the daddy, but I'm gonna say that he is the daddy. It wasn't done intentionally. She made a mistake. She did. She had sex with two people. She thought it was this person because her time frame, the cycles, kind of all it matched to be his. So she honestly thought it was his. And so 2-3 years later, and the boy did favor him, but come the DNA test proved that he wasn't the son's father. So. And
then we got to think too. The kid's not always going to come out and look like the daddy. Sometimes they're going to look like your side of the family.
Absolutely.
Or if they look like the daddy and it's not the daddy, like we human beings, y'all got y'all types too.
Right.
You like light-skinned dude, you like them tall. Right. So you done hit two dudes that look similar.
Yeah. On the head. Not calling names, but the situation that I was telling y'all about earlier, they look alike. The two guys look alike. About the same height, same complexion, same style, same swag, they look alike. The girl has a type. So it was nobody questioning it.
CJ, I knew she was fucking two people, but she just strongly thought that this one person was the son's father.
Nobody questioned it. The family didn't question it. The mom didn't question it.
Yeah.
Nobody questioned it. This was their baby and has been their baby for years, only to find out later on that it's not. That destroyed so many people on both sides. Because one side missed out. One side missed out on a child. One side got to lose a child. And you were saying earlier.
But do you have to lose the child?
Do you have to lose a child?
You don't have to walk away from that child because the child has gotten used to that father. What I don't like is when the child is 18, 16 years old, and I'm used to you, and because the DNA says you're not my dad, you just walk away. You've been my dad. You're all I know.
But DNA doesn't make you a father.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's fact.
So why would you walk away from that child when that child, you are all that child knows?
But what if both of the dudes are solid though? This is the other piece. What if both of them solid? This man want to stay in this child life, but now you just robbed me of my child for the last.
And that's what
so
happened.
now I want to come in, but what rights do I have?
And that's what happened.
I'm not on the birth certificate.
Yep.
I can't say shit.
Yep.
I can't roll up at the house. If you be like, nah, you ain't coming to get you. Now I got to argue with this dude that's the dad on paper.
It changed the
mom.
scenario.
The dynamic,
it changed the dynamics.
But we also can be a blended family.
That's got to be a choice for everybody to decide. That's something that everybody. And then you got to think, he mad as fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's angry. He's
Both
he's
of
hurt. He's disturbed. He ain't thinking about all that. He like, what the fuck? I mean, so the right thing maybe would be, you know what? I've been with you all these years. You my baby. I'm still gonna be a part of your life. But 9 times out of 10, that situation happened when there is no other active father.
Yeah.
Once the other father decides to be active, like you just said, it kind of pushes him away. Yeah. Like he don't have no place no more. And that fucks you up mentally. Yeah. So unless they decide to say, we both gonna be fathers to this child, which is a great idea, but we live in fucking a world of fucked up people. It don't always happen that way.
That's
real
rare.
Very rare.
Real men do real shit.
I got 3 daddies and they take well care. One is deceased and my 2 stepfathers. I say stepfather because we don't hear, but best believe they're my daddies and they treat me. And I ain't got neither one of their DNA.
Real men do real shit though.
Right.
Real.
And that's facts. That's facts.
And then that child, he got to get used. He or she has to get used to going to another household. You know,
exactly.
Everything don't go in everybody's house.
Yeah.
Now, what if that dude has been single and living free his whole life? Now, nigga, I got a 10-year-old.
And then
like out the blue. Now I got
the biological father's an alpha male. He don't want it. He don't know man being his child.
I mean, again, I think that's a conversation that
what's
all
for the
parents
child?
should
It's maturity.
have. All parents, and that's another thing about this situation. Nobody asked the child how she felt.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of took it and ran with it. Yeah. He decided he pissed off and he out. He decided to be in. Everybody started trying to play their parts, but again, it was a difficult situation. You can't just jump in like that. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting here like,
what about me?
Yeah.
So now what? Everything I knew, my whole life just blew up in front of me. Mm-hmm. Everything I knew to be my life has just been buried.
Yeah.
Now I gotta learn you, them, her. I mean, that's crazy.
But see, that's the thing. When 2 people are when parents are having intercourse, you know, and it is with multiple people, and they bring a baby into the world, they're not even thinking about their child, you know. Because if you was thinking about their child, you would get a fucking DNA test from the jump.
I think DNA tests should definitely be mandatory. I
definitely.
I feel you now though when you said then the government wouldn't make no money. Yeah. That changes the dynamics of this whole conversation. Because when we were talking earlier, I didn't think about that.
I think they do it now with child support because so many people are not the dad and they having so many people, but just to be doing it. They don't.
So my advice to men, I don't give a damn if it's your boo thing, your girlfriend, your wife. Get a DNA test.
So you can sleep at night.
Get a DNA test. And
yeah,
if
she
your
gonna
wife,
be mad. She gonna be mad.
No, she might not.
No, I wasn't mad.
I don't think I would.
I wasn't mad. But if she is mad,
I would have been mad.
She said she would have been.
If she is mad, then that's a whole nother maturity level on her state because she has to understand I want my man to sleep good at night. So if I have,
What if he always sleeping good?
Wait a minute. If I want my man to sleep good at night, and if this is what he asks me, and I know I haven't been having sex with anybody else, so he can have a clear mind, baby. Yes, get DNA test. Yes, go ahead.
Team of custom come in and help him out.
I got you.
You gotta also think I was 18 and I was 24 at that time. Like I said, what? I would have felt some type of way.
And
Earlier. I mean, maybe now, maybe it is there, but then it was.
In that moment,
You're not by yourself. A lot of women would have been offended. A lot of women are offended when you ask for a DNA test, but the mature Fatima, she wasn't. And as I sit today, I probably wouldn't. But I was married when I had my two youngest, as y'all know. If Tyrone would have asked me for a test, I can't honestly say I would have been like, oh yeah, no problem. I'd probably be like, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's the difference too.
Offended.
That's the difference too. We gotta look at the dynamics of relationships right now. A lot of folks ain't married. We do these long term.
Because a lot of married motherfuckers cheat.
Oh, they do.
Women and men that cheat. So that's a title to me.
Yeah.
Marriage is a title. It doesn't mean shit sometimes. Okay, because some people don't even value it. They don't even value their marriage. So because you have a child, now I gotta value the marriage and not ask you for a DNA test. No, half y'all motherfuckers in these people inboxes. Yeah. Bitches, females, and men. Yeah. So ask for that DNA test.
That's what I'm saying about the dynamics of where we are in relationships now. So just even like you just said, in marriage, I 100% agree. But that's where we're at. So I think to go back to the original question, yes, it should be mandatory.
I think it should be mandatory.
To Ning's point, like what the court's gonna do? Like nigga, that's some of our money. Like we ain't finna make this shit mandatory.
Yeah,
because it's too easy. Because the laws haven't caught up.
Absolutely not.
And it's on purpose. It don't take much to get a law passed. If we gonna be real with it, might take a little bit of time for some paperwork to go through the system, but it's not that hard. Now it's 2022. We've been having the same conversation since the 90s.
Probably before that.
I got a few comments. Let me read a few comments. So CJ said, you don't have to lose, but you have to accommodate the situation. I have to take a DNA test for a 14-year-old. If he's mine, I'll move forward accordingly. But I will never take him from his father. It's 7 o'clock. That he knows if he is mine. Jermaine said, look, as adults, you know who you sleep with or who you slept with. I personally went 8 years before I found out my daughter was not mine. The mom did not tell the child, and I was not the father. Did not tell the child I wasn't the father. She told me she preferred I be the father, but you got to be honest with these guys from the beginning. CJ said, and then
I'm sorry, so they chose not to tell the child.
Right. The mom asked not to tell that he's not.
So then that's kind of what you were saying before, though. So now you done found out, well, you're not the daddy, but because you've been in her life for so long, let's not tell her. So then what if they go out and get into a car accident or something?
The devil a lie. It's going to come out.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
It's going to come out.
It's something to deal with.
Think of those things. People
don't care about that.
That's selfish.
They care about how they look.
They think about them and how they look. They're not thinking about the child.
These are these fucked up family secrets that people keep.
But some people feel like they caring about the child or thinking about the child by sparing their feelings.
Feelings. We get over feelings. Yeah. Everybody get over feelings.
They gotta tell them.
Because I'm gonna have some feelings if I find out.
You think they gonna feel better at 18 versus 8? At 8 years old, forgive a lot of shit. They're 8. You know what I'm saying? So if you let them know younger, you know, hey, this is what happened. You ain't even got to get into all the details because an 8-year-old really ain't even going to understand. But at 18, that's a lot more to have to understand and explain. And
there's so many chances to tell me.
Yeah, you had all my life to tell me this shit. You tell me now. I think the best thing to do is to find out when they're young.
When they born.
Yeah.
When they born. And then so what I'm getting at too is, right, you got a lot of men that's mad at the baby mama when they find out that the child isn't there. But baby, you had the opportunity to get a DNA test on your own. So that's why I'm giving that advice. Whether you in a relationship or you just fucking around or you married, get a DNA test so it won't be the blame on the mother.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Ashley said, I offered my child's father DNA test. He was offended, but I I didn't ever want it to come up down the road. CJ said, when I asked my baby mama, she just broke down crying. Ashley said, contrary to popular belief, relationships, bonds, people all change. I didn't ever want the validity of my child's father to linger in his head if we were to ever hit a crossroad down the line. Cut the bullshit or the ability to invite bullshit at the beginning.
That's what you said.
Antonio said it should be because I'm the bigger person, weight wise, and on both sides of my family. My parents are small as fuck.
He's trying to say he don't look nothing like his parents.
Right.
Okay, so children can't jump.
Said, CJ, what you want to tell me?
Brothers, get the test to the.
But okay, so kids,
Time
so you can't.
Time out.
Wait.
No, ain't no pass nothing because if you on the real and rare, you bring your ass on real and rare, and you comment on real and rare, we're gonna address that shit.
Real
So
and real.
if you don't want the shit to be out there, don't bring your ass on Real and Rare podcast. Y'all have outside conversations with each other.
All right,
and no
and
damn
she
pass.
she said that's a damn lie. Stop camping on this app with people and leave me out of whatever you got going on.
Okay,
She said
so
what she
can
said.
children not look like other people in the family?
Absolutely.
Can they not jump?
Genetics jump all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
absolutely. If you put me and my mother together and that's my mom, we don't question moms. We
No,
question
little
dads.
nana down, little
But
nana
if
like.
you put me and my mom next to each other, I don't look nothing like
Never.
my mom. I'm not shaped like her.
auntie or something.
I don't look like her either. If you want to know the truth, I look like my dad's side of the
Mhm.
family. I am my father's child from head to toe. I walk like the motherfucker. Like I look like my dad. I don't look like nobody in my family.
My two
I
kids
look
look
like my
nothing like their father. They
Yeah.
had one. They might have had one period in their life, probably a couple of months or a year, that they look like their dad. But they are my triplets. Like they never look. They might have their hands or toes or something like that, but they do not
It
look like
happens.
them.
So we can't
I got
necessarily.
strong
Shit,
genes.
people think my
What I
children
mean.
don't look like me. They say my brother kids look like more like me
Yes.
than
Look
my
like
kids
me.
do.
They say my niece look like me.
Yeah, so we definitely can't go by that. If I go in a room with my niece and my nephew and my own 3 children, they gonna pick my niece and my nephew to be my kids versus my own 3 that I brought into this world, which is my kids don't look like me. It's we can't go by that. We good. So going back though,
Yeah,
so you
13
don't
months.
think that the mom should be held accountable? Do you think the mom should have some accountability?
Hell yeah.
You do?
Because we're gonna be held as men. We get held accountable whether we want to or not. Even if the nigga run, if she puts him on child support, then he on
got to
child
pay that
support.
baby. Yep.
Whether or not the
Yep.
court system catch up with him, then they take his tax money later on.
Exactly.
He's
They
about
gonna
to pay
lock your
something.
ass up.
That's
They
the
want to
game.
suspend your driver's
Like
license
put your ass
if you
in
don't
jail.
pay your child support.
Absolutely.
And
So then
everything.
I need
Say
you to
something. If
rethink
you-
what you're saying.
No,
then.
I'm not rethinking what I'm saying.
Think about that,
No.
though.
What I'm saying is, do I think she should be held 100% responsible? No. I think both parties. Should she have some responsibility in it? Hell.
That's what I'm saying. So if this man been taking care of this child for 8 years, and the court's been on his ass, and he done been through the bullshit for 8 years just to find out it's not his child.
And she get
All
nervous
she
because-
get to say is, "Oh my bad," and that's
Right.
it. She get to go to bed at night.
'Cause he
Nothing
ain't
happens
getting-
to her. That's
he's
not right.
He's not getting that money back.
He's not getting his money
And
back.
I know
But
it.
you know what the judge probably gonna say?
What?
You should have got a DNA test.
Yeah, them
son.
gifts.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what. But I agree
They
that it should be from the jump.
They're gonna put it back on him too.
That and it
And that's his
always
point.
happens.
That's what his point is.
So-
Women get away with everything.
So
That's what
again,
he's
that's what
saying.
I'm saying. Y'all as mothers have a heavy hand in a lot of young men's decisions
Mhm.
when it's happening. Now,
Well,
if
that's
you 35, y'all grown and y'all fucking and y'all got jobs and all this, it's totally different.
Mhm.
But starting out as a teenager, going through your 20s, not knowing the process, not knowing what this look like, and I hold myself accountable. This is why I talk to young men about this, and they look at me. They look at me crazy. But the other part of that is, even though he's sleeping with this young lady, as men, we often see other black women the way we see our mom.
Right.
Again, because we're matriarchal. So we're not going to question y'all. We're not going to question you when somebody comes up pregnant. We're not going to question whatever you tell us if it sounds good.
Right.
So he's gonna run with that. Well, my mama, she said it with mine.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
but
facts.
I don't think she'll do that.
Yep.
And I'm having to damn near shake these little dudes to get them to think, and I gotta go through this whole thing.
Do it.
My homeboy just went through it. He just went through it. He had a 2-year-old. He driving 6, 7, 8 hours from here to New Orleans to pick up his daughter, what he thought was his daughter, back and forth for 2 years. And somebody was just on him about, bruh, get the DNA test. Get the DNA test. Something came up. Somebody finally said something where it clicked in his brain, and he went and got, like, I forgot who said it earlier, a DNA test from like Walgreens, CVS. Did it at the house. When her mama came to pick up the baby, he had that test waiting on her and gave her baby back. And the chick is still, she's 5 now. She's sending him pictures of her in kindergarten and all that stuff. And he's seeing this child that he done held and raised for 2 years. And the mom is still texting him pictures and shit. So he's watching her grow up. But he decided to opt out.
But him, that was his child until he found out, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, even though the mom was wrong, that child you're the only dad that child knows.
But
so,
she was 2 at the time.
So
and he made the decision. He made the decision to walk away. But like I said, the mom was still calling or whatever, or like little milestones, like I say, first day of kindergarten or stuff. And the little girl is fucked up because she was so little, but she still has it etched in her mind. Oh, I remember you. You were my good daddy.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
exactly
she tells.
What I'm saying.
That's what she's saying to him, and it's gut wrenching for him. But as a man, he don't have any kids. He still want a legacy. He still want a wife. He can't play baby daddy to a child in New Orleans. Like that's the difficult part of it. Like, do I stay or do I go?
I know. I'm just saying, you don't have to lose touch with the child. I'm not saying.
And some do.
That's
some
all I'm
don't.
saying.
I think he made a good decision. The baby's 2, so
I get it.
he had a. I get when he had a chance to make a decision.
Yeah.
At 9 and 10, that's a little bit harder.
Right.
At 16, that's even more harder. At 18,
and
that's fucked up.
Or you find out after you a grandparent to this child that you thought was yours.
Even more worse. Right.
It's crazy.
It's
because family involved.
Let me read a couple of comments. Kiara said, I agree. It can become an open door to all kind of negative paths with that child. The beginning of a alternative view of life. Chanel said they can look like the other relatives, but somebody in the family better see the similarities. Antonia said women know who they fucked. Chanel said accountability in my also voice exactly. And that's it right now.
Also, I don't care if you make minimum wage. That courthouse is gonna make you pay at least $100 a month.
Minimum wage. It goes by your income. And if you want to be truthful about it, if you want to be truthfully about it, back in the day, they only looked at the father's income. Like you said, the laws are behind, but it's getting better. They don't do that anymore. They look at both incomes.
Our money will be 15 next month. Guess what? They look at both incomes.
Yeah, that's what I said. Back in the day, they only went by the male's income. Now they look at both parent incomes and make a decision because everybody got to live. I mean, at one point, they were taking food out of that man's house, and that wasn't fair. So they have caught up a little bit, but we're not there yet.
Right.
But the best thing y'all said, it don't cost that much money. You can go right to CVS and get a damn.
It's worth their life.
It's worth your life to spend $20, $40, whatever.
And $100.
Whatever it costs, you could go right to the drugstore and get a test. All three of y'all sit down, swab the cheek, send it in, you get your results. Now you can sleep at night. It's there. It's out there for us to do. And I disagree. I mean, TT has her opinion, but I disagree. I think women should be held accountable. I don't care. Women should be held accountable. As a woman, how y'all saying as a man, you should do this. Well, fuck. As a woman, you should do certain things too. You should be held accountable. If you know you done fucked up this man's life all these years and took this man money and gave him hell all these years, you should try to do something to try to make up for the trouble you caused.
Restitution.
Yeah. Because he's not getting the money back from the state, from the court.
Make her ass pay that
at least
money
half
back.
of it.
Pay something back the same way they put him on child support. They could put her on some kind of payment.
They're not gonna get their time back though.
They're not gonna get the time back, but
it's something.
It's something more than just saying, "Oh well, my bad. I'm sorry. Oh well, it's over with now. Go to bed."
And a lot of dudes, you would be surprised. A lot of dudes be like, "Don't even worry about it," because he already got to eat that. The money gone, the time gone, and up here he got to get this right. Because me and my homeboy still talk about it. Because we got other friends that went through it too, but his was like, because he was like 36, no kids, never been like happy. Like you could watch the nigga walk on water. He was a daddy. You couldn't tell him shit. And that girl put that needle in that balloon, and it was a wrap. I remember I walked into the job one day, like you said with your homeboy. I knew something was wrong. I just stopped in the doorway and I looked at him, and he looked up at me, and the first thing he said, "She ain't mine." That's all he said. That's all he said.
That's sad. That's not right. That's not right. Anyhow, y'all want to keep going? Y'all want to call it quits?
Yeah. Get your DNA test, whether you you got a boo thing, you got a girlfriend, you got a wife. I don't give a damn. Tell your wife you want a DNA test. If she feels some type of way, that's on her ass. But for you and your security, and so you won't take care of a baby for 8 years and then come around and blame the female. You as a man do your own responsibilities and get your own fucking DNA test. That's all I gotta say.
I think with me and Jazz is because we were so young and we got married early. Everybody know we was in 20-year marriages. So I think back then it probably was, but it's out so much now that just, like you said, married people just doing whatever they want to do. We wasn't moving like that. So, it made a little difference 20 years ago. Yeah. Right, 22 years ago or whatever. It's different. Like, they just wilding out now. It's like you said, Fatima, it's like it's a paper now. It don't mean like what it's supposed to mean to people.
The value.
Yeah.
Marriage value doesn't fit like it used to. With
Right.
Some people, not all. Some people still value their marriage, but I agree. We live in a world where you just do what you want to do nowadays, and there's no consequences.
It's sad.
And but that's my point to this conversation. There's no consequences. I think all parties should be held accountable. I think male, female.
I agree. I'm not saying the female shouldn't have no accountability at all. Absolutely not. I think it's some accountability, but I also think that a male should be accountable too, because we always want to blame
I'm agreeing with you. I get it.
I said this to y'all earlier, and before we log out, I'm gonna say this. Just like a woman calling rape on a man, right?
Somebody just said that to me.
Yeah. If a woman said that this man raped, it happens all the time in sports and celebrities and situations like that. But it happens to regular people too. She cried rape. They go through court. They go through the investigation. Find out this bitch lied. She don't lie.
Right.
Nothing happens to her.
But that's different.
She go home. We sorry. That's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, consequence you're reprimanded. That's what I'm gonna say. They don't get no slap on the wrist. These women ain't paying for this shit. What they do? That's detrimental character. That person can sue
if that man, if he sues her.
But there we go. And so here we go again. Here we go coming back to.
So
they need to take responsibility. If somebody accuses you of rape,
I agree with you, but you gotta look at the totality of the picture. As a man, I can lose my job off of allegation.
Yep.
I can lose my family off of allegation.
You're embarrassed, defamation of character.
And just the fact that somebody used that word in my name in the same sentence, I got that stain on me.
Yes.
Nobody.
Yes.
Well, we do it all the time.
With all of that, are you gonna take responsibility as a man to make sure that this female doesn't get a slap on the hand, or are you just gonna let it go? You gonna try to sue her?
We had this topic before.
Are you gonna try to sue her?
It depends on the man. Me personally, I would probably try to sue for defamation of character, something like that. But so many men just be like, I just want to be done with that shit. I just want to be done with it.
We had this topic before.
But that's fine. I get that.
We talked about how men
that brings me back to my point. Responsibility. Like, we want to blame, but we have laws in place to get situations taken care of, and men don't want to fucking do it.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Because most of the time we're not built like that.
Most men just want to be done with the situation. And number two,
the
shit ain't cheap either.
No,
you gotta pay
that's
for
a
all
man.
that shit.
That's us having peace. Because guess what? I can sue you. That don't mean I'm gonna win.
Yep.
I'm telling you that because on my regular 9 to 5,
don't mean you'll get no
I'm
money.
a paralegal.
Mm-hmm.
My regular 9 to 5. I can sue you. That don't mean I'm gonna win. So the way the court system works, it still can get drug out. You could play the game on your side with your lawyer and drag it out, and I still got shit on my name for something that I didn't do.
Right,
and some brothers are gonna feel like me, yes, because I've worked in that type of environment. So me, yes, I'm gonna see it through. I know this shit can take some time, but the average brother that don't work with the law,
they don't want to be patient.
That patience, and then it's like at the end of the day, what are you gonna get?
But see,
how much money are you gonna genuinely get off that?
CJ just said, doesn't matter. No court ruling can't change the public opinion. Fuck a public opinion. It's self.
That matters.
It's self.
The public opinion matters when I go to my next job and my name has been in the paper.
Yeah, I mean that's fine, but see, guess what? They're gonna also know that you fought for it as well. Like I think y'all missing my point.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But who's gonna gamble?
They're gonna
I'm just stretching it out.
They're gonna see that you stood on your 2 feet and you fought for that shit. Whether or not you lose or you win, it's a self thing. And it's I think I'm going more.
But as a man myself, I know I ain't do this shit
in the first place. Keep taking losses as men.
We do. No, I'm telling you that it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's how I feel as a man. Because it's like, what's the point? Because when you say as self. When you say as self, I feel good as self already.
What he's saying is true.
I feel good as self because I know I ain't do this shit in the first place. So what self-esteem is? How's that going to help my self-esteem to sue this woman when I can just cut ties and be done with the situation and try to move on? Right. But I can go to this next job and just because of an accusation, I got shit on my name. Yep. And everybody ain't gonna fuck with me. And then, but he already went through it because he had to fight. He had to fight to prove it.
It don't matter. I don't think even if you fight for it, my thing is like you said, it's still on your record, is it not?
It's still, and then you gotta fight to get it off.
Right. And then if you win,
you're not guilty. It's not on your record. You're not guilty. It's not on your record.
And then you gotta look because I know a brother. I know a brother now just off of a divorce and a lie that he was abusive. This man can't even set foot in his family church anymore. His wife and the kids welcome.
It don't matter what the court. It don't matter what the court
says. But I think by you saying he hit me versus he raped me is two different things. Because you can't really prove that somebody abused you because you got verbal abuse, you got physical abuse. Now when you scream rape, they can do all types of tests and shit like that. You know, so I think that's.
But that's what I'm saying. So if that's the case with, hey, he abused me, you can't prove it. What do you think rape is going to do to it? What type of accusation is rape for a man?
I have a friend
if he didn't
that he had a situation where his ex got mad at him because he moved on with his life, got married, and had another kid. They had a child together. She decided to put in the air, in the atmosphere, that he had been inappropriate with their daughter. That shit fucked up his entire life.
I know somebody like
it fucked up his, like you said, his job let him go.
But it fucked
he got his job back. But it never changes how you
mess up your mentality. I'm not saying it's gonna mess up your mentality.
It messes up your character. People.
But think about the
brothers.
Look
at you different.
Think about the brothers that haven't dug themselves out. Because there's some that's gonna fight. They're gonna fight like hell. Then there's other brothers that shit gonna break. And this is just going off topic, but this is going to why black men are self-deleting, committed suicide. Our numbers are rising. It's shit like this that we don't talk about. So I appreciate y'all having me on and talking about this specific topic because that weight on a man, and we don't have options. And then like a lot of times women have.
And we talk about that. Like, who do men talk to? When men going through their shit, who do men vent to?
And you got to have. I'm with a mentoring group where we get on the phone and we talk every Tuesday as men. And as we say, you got to have 2 or 3 of these groups. Where so many other brothers that don't have those groups, they don't got nobody to talk to, and they got a lot of. And brothers, I'm talking specifically to us. You got to find somebody real to talk to. Everybody can't be your fun friend. Everybody can't be your partner to drink with.
Anyway. It's the pride. It's the I'm private. Yeah, they don't want to talk about things.
And that's what we've been taught.
Or express what they got going on to someone else because they feel like you don't understand. So what do you do then?
We have that conversation.
You got to find some type of an outlet. That's part of the reason I started my podcast. because I know I'm just not. My luck ain't that goddamn bad.
Right.
The shit that I went through ain't just happened to me.
Right.
So it's somebody else out there. So I was willing to, like I said, even coming over here, I joke about it being the sacrificial lamb or whatever. But I'm willing to talk about this stuff to show other brothers it's okay to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Because you acting like it didn't happen, and it did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what is a conversation gonna hurt when you actually exactly, and you done already went through it, and it's fucking you up.
Suicide because they don't talk about it. They don't stand on what they stand for.
Yeah.
And that's
even
why
like suicide, they damage. They
hurt, they damage, and we're seeing it. We're seeing the results just in day-to-day activities. I mean, it's crazy, but it's true. I mean, we talked about the fact that men don't talk about their issues. We had that conversation before. We also had the conversation about what you just said earlier about how men don't want to go through the drama. Men say all the time, I want peace, I want peace. We hear that shit 50,000 times a day.
They want peace.
They don't want to go through the drama. They don't want to go through the fight.
But
We be
really
ready to fight. We
peace.
with the shits.
They want peace.
Women are with the
but
shits.
they really don't have peace. Let
That's
that shit
facts.
sink in.
That's facts.
Let
That's
that
facts.
sink in.
That's facts.
Let that sink in.
But if you
easier to go through the ropes, we gonna fight. We gonna talk our shit. We gonna go down to the courthouse. Well, no, because she ain't went to the courthouse yet. She's saying, "Fuck it, I want my peace." So it's a personal decision.
Letting shit go, and it affects the baby in the end. But guess what? It's gonna affect her either way it go. Because I can go and do this, and we can get money for this child, and can still not be in this baby life in the end.
But what if they
you got a little help?
I don't want to go back through this.
You got a little monetary
help.
help.
What if they do? What if they find out that this kid is their baby and they take
You don't have to be.
You don't know that.
You don't know
until you try. You don't.
They might find out that this is their child, and everything changes.
They have the open opportunity to say years.
But they want something from you and her. They want a DNA test.
Get it! I'm open to do it. I'm open to do it. Y'all making it seem like I'm not open to giving a DNA test. Get the fucking DNA test.
Okay, we'll start the process.
Why
I gotta start the process?
Because
you want the DNA test.
It's not even about them. It's about journey.
They have to be willing to do it. You can't cut off all lines of communication after you say you want a DNA test and then say, fuck it, we'll go ahead and do what
but
you
don't know that.
And expect, I don't know what.
You don't know if they're going to cut it off.
They did. It's a
year.
They have. It's a
because
year.
you haven't provided them.
No, the
No.
mom has.
The
and
mom
right now,
has.
as a man,
and
you say there's a father in there.
So guess what? But guess what? The dad done backed out too. I can't get in contact with neither one of them. So they don't stay in the same neighborhood anymore. So guess what I got to do? Tell what I got to do.
Once mama drops that,
send some papers to their house.
They don't stay there anymore.
I'm with you. They'll find ass.
They
So fuck would I go through all that? If y'all want the paperwork, I'm willing to give it to you. Y'all want the DNA test, I'm willing to give it to you. But what I will
so y'all don't know the school.
Chase you.
You don't know what school he
Not
goes to.
chase you.
You ain't even started the chase.
She don't want
What
to.
you
That's
mean?
what she said.
I'm the one that started the communication.
Right.
Y'all feel differently about it, but at the end of the day, I'm not about to run behind nobody to get no fucking paper.
Okay, let me get on Kiki's side.
Wait a minute.
Don't
cut it off.
Right, don't cut it off. Okay, my son's dad, like I said, it was all, heavenly, my baby coming, this, that, and the other. Okay, the child came after about a year or two. He started slowly, ain't really doing nothing. Like Kiki said, at some point, I was like, I ain't running after this nigga to take care of my child because I got him. And he even said himself, I don't do too much because I know you going to do what you need to do, which is stupid. But like you said, sometimes you don't even want to go through. It's like, why I got to make you take care of your child? I get it, Kiki. I totally, but I was 18. I was young. I was 18, 20 at the time.
I can see if I'm like, hell no, I ain't going to get no DNA test. Y'all ain't brought up. No, I'm not like that. I'm saying, hey, cool, let's do it. Let me know where to meet you at. I'm not going to look for the place. Find a place. Let's go. She told me, all right, we're waiting on this money to come in. Then she comes right back. You know what? We're breaking all ties. Don't call our phone. Don't text us. We don't want to have no communication.
That's her easy
It's
way
a wrap.
out.
So
That's what I'm saying. So she don't give her the easy way out.
No,
you gotta fight. I want you to fight.
I'm not doing it.
I want you to fight. That's what I want you to do. I want you to fight.
That's what we different. I'm not doing it. I'm not about to make nobody.
You're right. That's what we different.
That's even for my kid's father.
Right.
I'm not about to make this man take care of no fucking
I'm going to fight for mine. I'm going to fight.
Getting no money is not taking care of a child.
I ain't never said, but I ain't said shit about no money. Did you hear that come out my mouth? I ain't say shit about no money.
Y'all saying
I said a
DNA
DNA test. The child support starts the DNA test. When you go down there to you got to start the process. You got to go to the child support in order for them to get a DNA. I'm talking about DNA test for journeys safe. I don't give a fuck about no money. I know you can't make the other party take care of the child.
I can go down to the child support office, file the paperwork, and guess what? They still not fucking show up. Or they can come take the DNA test. They got the DNA and they still not around. So guess what? What am I?
The judge,
it's still a lost cause.
No, it's not. Because if you go down there, the judge, if they subpoena them so many times, they're going to find them motherfuckers. They're going to make them take care of it. They're going to put them on child support where the shit is on paper. You got to start the process. That's what I'm saying. I ain't even talking about the money part. Like, you have to get a DNA test for her, regardless of not if they want to take care of the child or not. That ain't in your control. You can't tell them folks what to do and what not to do. That's your grandbaby. That's your situation, not mine. I'm done with it. I don't give down what you do.
It is my situation.
And she chooses to not do it.
I pray like hell. They
okay.
supposed to come around and be in this baby life. She is so fucking precious. I do. But guess what I ain't about to do? Beg them. I ain't about to chase them. I'm not about to do none of that. I don't feel like as her grandmother, I should have to do that. I put an open door policy. Let's do this. I'm willing and ready.
Sonia,
my daughter is willing and ready.
Sonia, what the hell you talking about? Talking about Shawty in the black and white really don't listen. Please elaborate. And who you talking about?
Everybody black and white.
Because I'm on your ass. No, we on real and real.
Real.
I'm on his ass. Because if he's talking about me, I want to know about myself. It don't matter. This what this is.
I mean, but that's her opinion. So whoever, I don't know who says
everybody got opinions like everybody got assholes, okay?
That's her opinion.
So don't tell me I don't listen. If you gonna
personally, I will go to the child support.
Elaborate.
I would. But
like I said, I've been with Kiki and I wasn't chasing no nigga to take care of mine. And I get it.
But he's young.
It's not about the money. Truthfully, it's not about the other family.
I know, but it's not the chase.
It's about the clarity for the baby.
I get it.
I
get it, but it's like, why do I have to make somebody take care of their child?
Hear me out. File the paperwork. If you got their name or anything like that, the court is going to find them. If they don't come, they're going to hold the young man in contempt. They're going to respond to that. After that, they got to do the heavy lifting. Because now he has to go down there, sign the birth certificate. And the sad part about it is, guess what? The mama is a paralegal. She knows. Oh, she knows. That's
why she ain't doing it. That's why she's taking it easy
right now. So she
right
opened up in a bag.
Right
you don't have to. That's all the more reason. Now that you said that, that's all the more reason why you should do it.
She's not acting as a paralegal. She acting as a mom.
There you go.
She got a mama's boy.
That part.
And I'm telling you now, as a man, I done already know what game she done played with that grown ass man she married to. Is letting his potential grandbaby and son, do what the fuck he want to do. She
run the house.
She done withheld some pussy.
She run the house.
She ain't did shit. She done talked to this man. Look, I know what you want to do, but that's my son. Blah 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 blah. I'm a woman. I know this. She probably done lied on your daughter. That little fast ass girl done trapped my baby.
She apparently so she probably lied by the law.
Yeah.
Because from the beginning you said he wants to be a father. From the beginning, that's what you said. He wanted to be the father.
So it's just
but the mama came in and
just filing the paperwork and letting the process. Because so you're not chasing.
He's scared.
She want him to let him say a word.
He's scared.
He's 16, 17. I just told you.
You better not talk to that little girl.
I just turned 40. I'm still afraid of Nita. Shit, that boy's 16. He live in the same house. She done told him that. He gonna resent
his mom for that though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he will.
That's gonna be an issue. That's gonna be.
But you better not say that to that little girl.
At 17 in the state of Georgia, he is considered an adult. You can have all the conversations you want with this young man. Now, if he chooses not to have a conversation, that's a different story. But you can have any conversation with this man that you want because he is.
You better not. You better not. If I'm his mom and I say you better not, you better not get your ass out my house.
See, that's the wrong.
Y'all have kids.
No, I'm not saying that. That's me. I'm saying that's how she
came to me.
I'm saying that's how she's acting.
I want a DNA test.
No, I'm saying that's how she's acting.
This my baby. So
I did ask for it.
She asked for the DNA test.
But y'all already know how that. You know how that conversation went.
That's what I'm saying. Not me, but she's probably saying you better not talk to me.
Mama, I'm 17 and I'm grown in the
Okay,
state
and
of
get
Georgia.
your ass out my house.
Somebody
And you know what?
now.
You know how that lady
And
17
you
ain't
know,
you fucking. If you fucking, you can get a goddamn DNA
Mama,
test.
I'm
You can have all the
17.
conversations you want. That's bullshit. Y'all
I'm
make
grown.
it
And,
No,
and
no,
where you, no,
'cause that's the
and where you gonna
conversation.
stay?
Mama,
Where you gonna
I'm
stay?
17. I'm grown in the state of Georgia. Well, you grown in the state of Georgia,
Get
but
your
you
ass
ain't
out my
grown
house.
in this house.
Get out.
He ain't even gotta tell her. If he want to get a DNA test,
Does he
he
know
ain't even
that?
gotta tell
Does he
her.
know that?
I don't know shit about this boy. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't
He
know what he
don't.
look like.
He don't.
But
I'm
if
just
he
telling you.
wanted to, if he want to know
I'm
if this
just
is
telling
child,
you, as a young,
he old enough he can get a
as a
DNA
man,
test. She don't even have to go through his mom.
I
no
done
more.
been.
Them
I
for
done
better
been
go to
17.
CVS.
And
He
I
afraid
really
of
just
this
don't
woman.
think that the mama gonna
She
put
run
him
the
out
house.
because he took a test.
Kiki,
I mean,
go see me
come
at
on,
Walmart.
we
Tell that
get
boy
to
to pull
so
up
I'm
one
gonna
day.
put my son out because he got a DNA test to find out if
You,
this is baby.
sis, I work with a mentor group. You know how many women have put their sons out for some of the most minor shit?
I'm
And you know what? That's so crazy.
And that's detrimental to
because as a
him.
mother, that's
But
crazy.
she's a
as
good.
hell.
This is a mom who loves her son. If y'all saying, if listen to what y'all saying,
That's crazy.
She still
she
probably
ain't that type of mom.
she probably a control freak though.
She is a control freak. She clearly is a
Oh,
control freak.
So
but
what? But
she's
she
not the type of mom. She loves her son. We see that. She
Right,
don't want
but
her
in-
son to be in no shit. We see that. So she's not the type of mom who gonna kick his ass out.
She's
for
probably not, but she could be threatening to
We
in
know
a
lot of
child's
coulds.
mind.
There's a lot of coulds.
That's what I'm saying.
And we don't know shit because we ain't did shit.
I mean, we
We
ain't
don't
in it.
know.
We
We
may
don't
be
know.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We just
Yeah.
watch the scenario. We don't know what these folks
That's
going
it.
We are assuming at this point what she is, what she may do, what she could do. Goddamn, go file
Go
mother.
find
Go
out.
file the goddamn
Go
paperwork.
find
and
out.
see
I
what
think
the
we
damn
all
judge
agree
and
on
the
that.
court say.
I think we all agree on that, but we know what's going on in that house. We can talk that shit we want. You know what the fuck she done said to that
I
boy.
don't tell
Yeah.
I get that. I'm not disagreeing with that. I get that. I
Yeah.
get that. And at 16,
She might not put him out. I'm just saying people threaten kids. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying people threaten kids. I'm not saying she would actually do
And
it.
then-
Not
and
saying
then-
she actually said it, but I'm saying people move like that to scare their kids. He ain't got nowhere to go, so he don't know what to do. I can't fight my mama.
Y'all
And fight
don't
y'all.
know
I
that.
don't know what that
Y'all
means.
I
don't
just said I don't know shit. I said maybe.
But does he know
We
the
give him
process?
no credit.
And then if he
Maybe it's still a possibility.
And if he-
may
if he
not
got that
know
adult
what it
male
is.
in the house,
Try. I don't care.
if he got that
about none
adult
of that.
male in the house and he don't
The
have
father
no,
should be the
but
one
if he
doing
don't,
this shit.
if he's
She
not
run
that
him.
guy,
We don't-
if he's not that guy, then this has been his example of what a man is and does right now.
His
He
dad
gonna fuck.
weak and he weak too.
He gonna follow.
My dad don't fight him. Shit,
He
he
gonna
ain't
follow
helping me.
whatever his mama say. And obviously the daddy is too.
So let me ask. I asked after.
Bye, y'all. Let's end this.
Yeah, because I got a question on my son. All right, bye. We love y'all. We see y'all next Tuesday.
6
Thank
o'clock.
y'all for chiming
Leave
in.
your comments. Leave
Tony,
your
I'm on
comments.
your ass.
Leave your
Whoever
comments.
you is.
Leave your comments. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. We ain't leaving that out. Like, share, subscribe.
Thank you,
If you-
Melissa. She
if
said
you
it's not
wanna
about
be
the
a
money.
guest.
It's not about the being. She said it's about being an active family.
Thank you, Melissa, for
Willingly.
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 I don't give a damn what Melissa say. I'm giving you Fatima's opinion as your sister, and that's fine. And I don't care what she say. Thank you for agreeing with her. And she got her opinion. I got my opinion, and I said what I said. And I'm gonna ask you some shit when we get off of here. I love y'all. Have a blessed.
Child, but see my
Shawty
whole
got a black
five
I know how they want to deal with the shit I do. So
Shawty in the black and
I
white.
gotta
don't
take
Well,
care of
it
that.
can
You know
tell
how
us-
y'all doing it.
It don't matter. Well, you tell us what's going on, so we're
I'm
gonna get